High in the mist-shrouded peaks, nestled between towering waterfalls and ancient forests, lay the village of Kori. Hidden from the world, it was a place of whispers and shadows, the home of the Ashina clan. They were masters of stealth, their movements swift and silent as the falling snow. Among them, Kaito was a legend. Kaito moved like smoke through the training yard. He was young, barely a man, but his skills were unmatched. His katana flashed in the morning sun, a silver blur against the deep green of the forest backdrop. His every sense was sharp, every muscle honed to perfection. He was the pride of the Ashina clan, destined for greatness. His heart, however, belonged to Hana. She was as fierce and agile as any warrior, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of the mountains. They trained together, their movements a deadly dance, their bond unbreakable, or so he thought. Trust, like ice, can shatter in an instant. One crisp morning, a messenger arrived, his face etched with worry. A neighboring village was under attack by bandits. Kaito, along with Hana and a small group of ninjas, was tasked with repelling the threat. Little did he know, this mission would change everything. The air hung heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth as Kaito led his team through the dense forest. Their steps were silent, their purpose unwavering. They were the unseen protectors, the silent guardians of the mountains. But danger lurked in the shadows, closer than they knew. As they neared the village, a chilling sight met their eyes. The ground was littered with bodies, their once vibrant clothes stained crimson. The stench of death permeated the air. Kaito felt a knot of dread tighten in his stomach. Something was wrong. This was no ordinary bandit attack. Suddenly a figure emerged from the shadows. Hana, but her eyes, usually filled with warmth, were cold and calculating. In her hand she held a familiar weapon. Kaito's grandfather's katana, a family heirloom passed down through generations of Ashina ninjas. It dripped with blood, betrayal cut through Kaito like a poisoned blade. He couldn't believe his eyes. Hana, his trusted companion, stood before him, framed by the carnage. Before he could speak, she attacked. Her movements were swift, deadly, fueled by a rage he couldn't comprehend. Falsely accused of leading the massacre and betraying his clan, Kaito had no choice but to flee. The weight of his clan's judgment, the pain of Hana's betrayal, was a heavy burden to bear. He became a ghost, a whisper of the wind, his name erased from the Ashina clan's history. Years turned into a blur of solitude and relentless training. Kaito sought refuge in the wilderness, honing his skills to a razor's edge. He lived off the land, his only companions the wolves that roamed the high peaks and the memory of his betrayal. He was no longer the proud ninja of the Ashina clan, but a shadow of his former self. One evening, while seeking shelter in a remote village, he overheard whispers of a growing threat. A band of rogue ninjas, their hearts consumed by darkness, were terrorizing villages, their motives unknown. Their leader, the rumors claimed, was a skilled warrior with piercing eyes and a blade that moved like lightning. Kaito's blood ran cold. The description sent a shiver down his spine. It couldn't be, could it? The thought gnawed at him, a persistent itch he couldn't ignore. He had to know the truth. His journey for redemption, he realized, had just begun. Driven by a thirst for truth and a burning desire to clear his name, Kaito followed the whispers. They led him through treacherous mountain passes and desolate plains, each step taking him closer to his past, closer to the truth that haunted him. He walked alone, his only companions the ghosts of his memories. The village of his childhood, once a vibrant hub of activity, was now cloaked in fear. The townsfolk huddled in their homes, their faces etched with worry. The threat of the rogue ninjas loomed over them like a dark cloud. Kaito's heart ached for them, for the home he had lost. He met the village elder, a frail but spirited woman who still remembered him. Her eyes widened in recognition, a flicker of fear crossing her face before being replaced by a cautious hope. She told him of the rogue ninjas, their brutality and their leader, a woman known only as the Shadow Hand. Kaito's heart sank. The Shadow Hand. He knew that name. He knew her fighting style. It was Hana, but how? Why? He had so many questions, but the elder had no answers, only fear and a plea for help.